Morning. Question.
What's that?
How did you answer her question? Harvest or harvester?
The answer is yes.
Can't go wrong there.
She asked, are you the harvest or the harvester? And the answer is yes.
Who does the harvest?
I am one or the other, but actually both. Right?
Well, I thought Jesus of God is the harvester.
Well, that's true.
The reaping.
That is true. But he calls us to be harvesters. Remember, he said to the disciples, Matthew 28, I believe, pray for the harvest. The harvest is great, but the reapers are few. The reaper, the harvester is basically the same. Yeah. And the labor that they are doing is trying to harvest. The reality is that no one's going to heaven alone. I don't believe anybody goes to heaven alone. So if we want to be there, let's put it this way. If Jesus is like that, and you are his disciple, are you going to look like that? What are you going to look like?
Like him.
You may not have all the characteristics, you may not exemplify them as well as he does, and so on and so forth, but yet people are going to recognize the similarity.
A smaller J.
And Jesus, as we've been studying, he was a discipler. His aim was to duplicate himself. That's what discipling is, isn't it? So if he is a duplicator, duplicating himself, then if this person is really following him, he's going to do another one, which will do another one. Can't write backwards and sideways. So the point is this is how God intended to spread the gospel. In the process of this person reaching this person, they lift themselves up because they have a dependency on God. And that's why I don't think it's possible to go to heaven alone. For us to be like Jesus, we have the necessity of working. It saves our own soul. How many stories have you heard about people who were freezing to death, and in trying to save their partner, they saved their own life? You hear stories like this, and it's really true. A couple of people traveling, one of them gets so cold they pass out. They're freezing to death. They're suffering from hypothermia. And so the other person says, I can't leave them here to die. So they start carrying them. And the energy they expend trying to carry the other person generates the heat that causes them to survive. And that's exactly how it is in the Christian walk, isn't it? As we work for others, it is our own salvation. Why do you think Jesus said, work out your own salvation? He wasn't saying obey the commandments. It had nothing to do with that. But work out your salvation. Work at it. Can you create your own salvation by works? No. Can you have salvation without working? So we have to understand that balance. And the Bible is extremely clear on that. It cannot be misunderstood if we're willing to open our minds and hearts to what God is saying. He's very clear. While we depend on Him, one of the things that we must depend on Him for is the strength to help the other that is lost. And we just studied a few weeks ago that when we lose our prayer life for another person, we have nothing to pray about. Which means you've removed this. Now you're no longer dependent on Him.